Hey, I'm Jack from the Online Real Estate Academy and Jackgate Real Estate here in beautiful Massachusetts. Let's talk about love letters. Love, exciting. No, I won't. I won't sing the Love Boat theme for you. We're talking about love letters. These are letters that buyers sometimes write that they include with their offer when they're making an offer on a property. And usually, people who write love letters along with their property offer are folks that kind of feel that their offer might not be financially the highest bid. And this is especially a thing, when it's a seller's market, as it is now in 2022, early 2022. We'll see what the rest of the year brings us, right? But right now, it's most of the places across the country, and certainly here in Massachusetts, it's a seller's market. And so if you don't think you have the highest number that you want to offer and there's competing bids, you might submit a love letter. And this love letter might kind of appeal to the heartstrings of the seller. You might mention, for instance, that you're going to care for those shrubs that the seller planted so carefully 18 years ago. You're going to be a nice neighbor. You plan to live there a long time. Well, it's your dream to live in that neighborhood, whatever the spin is. I don't think, just right off the bat, a couple of disclosures. I don't think I've had many buyers submit offers with love letters. I can't remember, the last one that I submitted on behalf of a buyer. We have received several, many, I should probably say, especially in the last couple of years where it's been a seller's market. So I haven't really advised of them or used them much, but we've definitely received some. Oh, one other thing of full disclosure, I'm sure you're concerned. I couldn't find my trademark black polo somewhere in the office, so we just went with the T-shirt with the pocket. You'll get over it. All right, so these letters are a thing, and buyers put them in there to kind of appeal to the emotional side of the seller. In Oregon, they filed a bill last year to ban love letters. I know. And it passed. Let's bring it up on the screen here if we can. This new law, which went into effect in January of this year, 2020, according to the state representative who's the sponsor, Mark Meek, who's also a real estate broker, is there to, quote, help a seller avoid selecting a buyer based upon a buyer's race, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation, national origin, the whole list, right? And so the law is there just to help. I find that to be incredibly patronizing, really, that the law is there to help a seller avoid selecting a buyer, as if the seller is automatically somebody who would do that, and that the seller can't stop themselves. So, but aside from that, you'll hear my little editorial here occasionally on this video. But the law goes into effect January 1st, and what do you know? Right out of the gate, there's a court case, of course. And in this court case, there's an agency, then there's a First Amendment group that files, and effectively, just yesterday, I think, or Friday, I should say, the law gets blocked by a federal judge because it's a First Amendment violation. Cut and clear. Also, a couple of criticisms that the judge had here was that it was very broad, the way this law was written, that the offer could only include the customary documents. And, there's plenty of times where a small sentence or two from the broker might explain something that's peculiar in the offer, that, like the closing date. Why did we pick that closing date? Well, we might have picked that closing date just because that's what like is customary, 6 weeks. But we might also want to just put in the cover letter that we're flexible on the closing date, or some repair that we want to have done. Why does that need to be fixed? Maybe it's a safety or a code violation, just to kind of impress. So there's all sorts of things that as a broker I might write in the email that forwards the offer along, and it seems as if it kind of would ban that. I'm a strong believer that the buyer should be able to write up any offer they want. You've probably heard me say this before. I think the buyer should be able to write in a Sharpie on the back of a pizza box and deliver it to the list agent. I think that the buyer should be the one that determines the form and scope and style of the offer from A to Z. And if the seller's agent must forward that offer to the seller, whether the seller agent likes it or not, forthwith. At least that's the law we have in Massachusetts. So if you get an offer that you as the selling agent don't like, I don't like this offer, tough bleep, you've got to send it to the seller themselves. They're the ones that can decide whether they like it or not. So I'm a big believer in that. But anyways, one of the solutions that the Judge Hernandez in this particular case, offered would be to tailor this bill in Oregon to have a narrower scope, to allow additional documents should they be relevant to the transaction, and also to have the agent or broker edit the love letter so that it's free of any type of discriminatory language or identifying language that would identify the buyer as a member of any one of those protected classes we began to list there. Oh boy, that's all sorts of troublesome, right? Do you want your real estate agent editing your love letter to make sure that the love letter doesn't include any type of identifying information? I don't want my agents doing that, because that sounds like it's a basket full of trouble. Liability. What if the agent didn't edit it the right way? I mean, they could get sued by their own buyer. They could get sued by, oh my God, no. And what that would definitely do would be, there would be no love letters ever, because agents wouldn't, I'd be like, I'm not going to be responsible for editing that. And agents just wouldn't do it. They were like, I'm not going to do it. So, and no broker would allow their agent to do it because it takes on way too much liability. The other suggestion by the judge was to see that these love letters did not include photos. A lot of times, and I'm remembering one from just last year, a lot of times these include photos. Sometimes a real savvy buyer will actually take a photo of their family at the front door as if they live there. And, with the house in the background. And I'm pretty sure I got one of those last year. They don't want to do that, because obviously when you look at the photo, you can see what protected class these folks might be a member of. And of course, we need to help sellers to avoid to be discriminatory. I just think that's incredibly biased against sellers. And if I could just add, I think it's, to use this language on them, it's awfully privileged of these very wealthy people, the people that would otherwise win the bid, to say that folks that don't have enough money, don't have as much money, can't write a letter to kind of level the playing field. What are you afraid of? Can't you compete with the letter? Maybe you should write your own letter. So, isn't it nice? Oh, my iPad just lost power. That's okay. You don't need that. I think it is privileged of people to say, you can't write a letter, right? How snobby of them to say that you can't write a letter because we have to help the sellers not to discriminate. What? I think the buyers should be able to write a letter so that they could maybe level the playing field. Remember, the people that write letters are almost always the people that do not have the highest bid financially. So, yeah, isn't it privileged of people to say that they want to get rid of that technique? So that's just how I'm thinking about it. I don't usually have buyers that write these, but I'm not opposed to receiving them. I'm definitely opposed to me or my agents editing them. And I think the buyer, as I've said before, they should write up any offer they want, whether it's on a Sharpie on the back of a pizza box, written as a collage. I don't care. Skywrite it in the sky. Well, no, it's got to be signed. It's got to be signed by the, so it can't be sky written. But put it together any offer you want. That's how I feel about it. And I hope this legislation dies a quick death over in Oregon or Oregon. I'm sure it's a nice place. I haven't been in a long time. Hey, I'm Jack Gately from the Online Real Estate Academy and Jack Gately Real Estate. Have a great day. Bye-bye.